Hi, everybody. It's Dartanya Show. I am back because I had said in my prior daily devotional video I was going to do a little video about one of my actually three of my transformation experiences. Um, this is in between 2006 and 2008. Uh, I'm a little uncomfortable sharing it because so many people looked at me like I had two heads when I was trying to share it with them, and even counselors, mental health therapists, they didn't know what to do with me. Anyway, okay, here it is. In 2006, I lived in a very large Victorian. It was one of the tallest residential houses in Allentown, which is like a little hamlet section of the west side of Buffalo, New York. Um, I lived on the third floor. I could see Lake Erie from my window. It was very high up. Most beautiful windows and these huge windowsills. You could eat a meal with someone on them. Great apartment, one of my favorite apartments. Whew. Used to be an old nunnery. So nuns used to live there. Um, okay, so one day I woke up and I was doing my, morning stuff. I got up to go to the bathroom. I had fallen asleep on the couch in front of the TV, which was common for me at that point in time. And I saw this black piece of fuzz in my cleavage. And I thought, okay, black piece of fuzz on my cleavage. I'll just take it out. And I went to take it out and it moved. And meanwhile, I'm on a third story. It's a very high Victorian type building, and I'm on the third floor going, how did this thing get there? You know, I just thought, no, not a big deal. Maybe he landed on me and crawled up me during the night. I don't know. Not a big deal. So I took my little furry friend and, just went downstairs and put him on some plants outside on the side of the house. And not a big deal. Um, so that was that one isolated incident. Then uh, I I had this is a weird one. Here it goes. Another weird one where I was looking at a church on Delaware. I love taking pictures. I still do to this day. I took a picture of a beautiful church on Delaware and it had like a tree bush in front of it. And when I went to look at the picture, it was on fire. The tree bush was completely in flames. I said no. I said that can't happen. I'm looking around. There was nothing that could have done that. There wasn't, some big sunset that was in the background. This church was huge, and the tree bush was obscured by the church. So there was no reason that could have happened. I sent it to my friend, and he said, "Oh my God, where's the fire?" And I said, "There's no fire." Now, I told him the story of what had happened, and he said, "You got to send it to a religious magazine. You got to do that. You got to do that." And I can't explain where my headspace was at that point in time. I had a lot of things wrong with me at that point in time, and I guess it was time for me to awaken. And I didn't send it anywhere, but I think sometimes your mind, your soul dictates what you're supposed to do more so than you think. And I don't think I was supposed to send it anywhere. I think this was a personal sign to me, along with that furry caterpillar friend. We also had, for those of you that come from Western New York, you might have heard of the huge ice storm. It was 2006, I'm pretty sure, or 2007. I'm going to have to go with 2006. It was actually started Thursday the 12th, but we like to refer to it as Friday the 13th to give it that, occult like vibe. But it started on the 12th because I was walking in it. And, I had my phone stolen. So all that footage and, the picture of the church, with the burning bush, that's gone. I think that was supposed to happen too. I think certain things are supposed to be personal from, our higher power to us. And there's not really supposed to be some record where we can upload or download it anywhere. So I think deep down, the decisions that I made about what to do, not taking pictures of the caterpillar, you know, and not sending that picture to a religious magazine, and even having my phone get stolen, all of that stuff was divine. It was divine intervention. And if I had taken a picture, someone could have just said, well, you could have put the caterpillar in there. You know what I mean? So really, it wouldn't have mattered had I taken a picture. But fast forward to 2008. And after this, I knew something was really happening to me and to reality itself, whatever you want to call it. Well, I was in a house at this point in time, and I woke up in front of after falling asleep in front of the TV. There it goes again. I was on the couch. I got up, went to the bathroom to do all my stuff, and guess who was there? A little black caterpillar again in my cleavage. Now, at that point in time, I didn't know this was my heart chakra. This took a long time for me to understand what this was or how to explain it. How do you look it up online? I found two furry caterpillars spaced apart by 2 years, lodged in my cleavage, all rolled up in a ball. I mean, you can't, you're not going to get anywhere. There was all this dream interpretation stuff, all this stuff. So I took my little furry friend who looked and was the same size, exactly like the other one, took it outside, put him in the grass, and, said my farewells and really start to assess, okay, what's happening to me. Then I started assessing, like, throughout my life, I get these my mind records things. And I take them, they're like these little puzzle pieces to a bigger picture that is unbeknownst to me at the time. And I can't understand why my brain keeps replaying them, because they really at the time had no meaning at that point in time. But I've always been taking these little puzzle pieces. And, I now understand what my bigger picture is and what my purpose is. And part of that is to get it across to you. I need to heal. I need everyone out there to heal. And we need each other desperately to do this. So that is one of the stories with the many things that happened. But that storm that we had, I almost got killed in it. I was just about home. And there was the old nunnery that I'd lived on the 3rd floor at. And I heard this big cracking. It was deafening. And a huge tree branch, it fell right in front of me. It would have killed me. It was that big. It was like, a third of the freaking tree cracked off. And that's what was going on at that point in time. I recorded people running up and down the street screaming. And there were trees just coming apart and splitting in half. I'm not talking about little branches flaking down. You could hear the crashes and the cracks and the deafening roars of what was happening during this ice storm, and people were terrified and they were running for cover, and it was a very scary experience. You would have thought, my God, it's the end of the world as we know it. I should say, end of the world as we know it. And for me, it definitely was. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please click subscribe and the like button. If you can do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, my fellow brothers and sisters. I love you. Stay strong. Peace out.